How's it going, guys? I'm your host Korriban Gaming. Welcome back to this week's Adventure Quest Nostalgia Quest episode, and for today's video we'll be going through the Bizarre Flecks Grand Finale. But before I start off the episode, I'd like to turn your attention to the right hand side of the screen. There I have my Discord link. Alright, so you guys definitely want to go ahead and join my Discord, whether you're a new player, a returning player, or even a veteran player. You guys want to hang out with the other AQ players, there is the perfect place to do so. Very friendly players. On top of that, we have discussions almost every single day about the game, and if you're a new or returning player, you need help on the game, you guys can ask the other players there. I'm sure they'll be more than happy to help you. There are also a bunch of resources there which you guys can use to help help out your early gameplay. Alright, also I will be hanging out there quite often, so if you guys want another channel to talk to me, there will be the perfect place to join. And last but not least, once we reach 3,000 subscribers, I'll be doing a huge 3-part giveaway, and one of the parts will be on the Discord, so you guys definitely want to go ahead and join the Discord. And disclaimer first, the giveaway is going to be limited to people of a certain level. It's not going to be a very high requirement. In fact, it's going to be quite a low requirement. But if you're someone who just joined and, you know, hasn't said anything, then basically you will not be qualified for the giveaway. So yeah, I want people to go ahead and interact with them more, and I'm trying to build up this community. Alright, so I'll be really glad if you guys can help me expand it and share the link to other people who may be interested in the game. Alright, so let us get started. Journey home. Bizarre Flecks Part 3. What is the earliest thing you remember? So, want to know about me? Truly, such keen interest. I'm flattered. Perhaps you are less a birdie than I thought. Then. Then not then. You are comparing, not speaking of a specific place in time. Moving right along. Perhaps you are actually a being of note. I have, in fact, it seems, underestimated you. About time you realize that. Dr. Celestus, the readings are clear. Elemental collapse has begun across the board. Prepare the countermeasures. But doctor, the anti-photon bomb will just accelerate the demise. That is the conventional wisdom, Miss Lord over. But you know as well as I that the collapse cannot be stopped. We need something to hold the world's most basic forces together. But matter-antimatter collision leads to annihilation. No, it leads to their conversion to pure energy, and in this instance a matter-antimatter collision may be just the thing too. You wish to learn from my past, you wish to find what I have done, and from whence I have come, so you may send me home. How foolish that is, with my home having just recently visited you. The direct route is now closed, as it should be. Closed? My home should remain sealed against your world, for even a moment's contact spreads the very cascade that led to complete elemental collapse. Something even I would never desire. Yes, through no action of my own, those seals were recently broken. The damage has yet to be fully accounted from that contact, but it will be profound. Aye, all adds up then. That is indeed a problem. I take it you plan on going home kicking and screaming. He's from the Shadow Universe. That seems to match up with everything we've seen, especially with him hosting shadows in his army. One does not fight tooth and claw for their very being, only to sit quietly in a cage. And I have always been a shadow, though more highly evolved from the ones you have met, having years to accumulate experience outside of my cage. You have no comprehension what you would be releasing. Even you, Lawmaster, have no ideas. You wish to know what sending me away would release on your world? What that clever little monocled rodent nearly brought upon you? Oh, secret reference. Our abjuration will require the seals to the Shadow Universe be breached. So you want to know about my childhood? So be it. I was conceived in fire and in blood, in light and in darkness. I was conceived in war and in death. This is my conception. I'm leaving now. You run along and watch my childhood. My temporal immunity is stripped, but I will not stop you regardless. I want you to know why your situation is so helpless. I am born of that world. I am of its very fabric. When that seal was violated, I was empowered. I can reach across even with the gates closed. I have learned from my experiences there. I have forced human beings to dwell there. Also, and in the process, we have all been changed. But we quickly grew to learn that these actions had consequences. It was agreed that none would open direct conduits to draw on the power there. The damage from such an event would be vast. So far, your encounters with me have been restricted by the ceasefire we made long ago. Even as you've done this, however, my armies have assembled. So will you finish what the secret started and make me even stronger by reopening the seals? I can clearly no longer be concerned about ceasefires with him or his order. I forced your hand, you say. Well, now you have forced mine. You wondered once how I could pull you into my mind. This mechanism, Ardendor, uses touch or memory more primal than time itself. You saw my graffitio in the library, no doubt. Too bad there are so many wings to the Hall of Memories, as you might have seen it there as well. I have long had full access there. How could I possibly mess with your avatar? I used your downtime. Do you think I was idle? And since I can exist outside time, I merely granted myself access before then as well. I have in fact had unfettered access to the abode from its very conception, and I anticipated its users even before Sinara came to Valorin. In fact, I've had access long to both of him. Even on Celestia I can broach his halls. What do you say that, Ren? What do you say to that, Ren? If you had somehow altered or changed the abode, I would know. I do not have to alter nor change. I merely directly entered the hall of my own volition. I understood the mechanism in use quite clearly, and I too can use it to my ends. Time to send you on a little journey home. Welcome to my mind, Korban. Lawmaster, good luck navigating your way out. I'm not restricted, we can just leave. I'm aware, though I know that you will only return again. You will want to fight this war. It is the only way to truly know me. Authorization Celestus 892. Who are you two? Hello, don't worry, we are not here. We are just your overexcited imaginations. Authorization Lord over 298. Anti-photon bomb released on a collision course with the sun. Powers have mercy on us all. Notice they only mention two. They cannot perceive me. Mommy and Daddy cannot see what their hands have wrought, indirect though they may be. But this whole thing seems somewhat unfair. Perhaps a bit of guidance might aid you in this moment. Another one. Who are you people? I don't take kindly to being forcibly teleported anywhere. You know that, firstborn. But you need to be here for the unveiling. They will need your help in this. With events as they are, I'm afraid I must call for our truce. You realize what this means? Yes, but honestly I rather hope that you succeed. However, you face a war on two fronts, one in my mind and one on law. Only by surviving both can you understand how little hope I have. I see. If you wish a war, then I am more than capable of providing it. Korban, I leave the war effort in your hands. As per usual. I shall keep him occupied in the meantime. Are you insane? Erebus was able to defeat even Valorin. You can't stand against him alone. You give me too little credit. He is but a single shadow who doesn't know his place, and powerful though he may be, his power falls within my domain. I can deal with him for the time being. Go quickly and win this war. Once you have, we can finish this fight together. Oh, using the other one, are we? It seems appropriate given my situation, as you'll soon learn. Law is in a war on two fronts. One in reality versus the forces the priest formerly known as Daos and named by you as Erebus controls and manipulates to his bidding, and one in his mind and his memories of the past. Within is the key and the power to send Erebus away, at least for a time, but can it even be used without grave repercussions? Okay, so the first part we'll do this to battle, and then we'll do the rise of the Lawmasters. Okay, so let's go by ourselves. Excuse me. View cutscenes. Oh. Wow, that is a lot of stuff. Erebus' arrival not long ago near the former Guardian Tower at Idris Point Darren. Aren't you the shadowy one? He. It fills my heart with doom just looking at you. So who and what are you? So close to the Brilhado stronghold. One of their necromantic efforts, perhaps? No, you do not seem undead, but you do not quite seem alive either. Strange. My, how invigorating. I feel I could take on law and bring the doom all by my lonesome right now. Amazing and yet somehow wrong. I can speak, but what is this? Not like me at all. Well, now I am he and he is me. Eldron, sometime later, okay, let's say outside Fair Harbor. Dolion Webb, what have you done? Where is Eldron Loratian? Nowhere, he, and no when, you insufferable twit. I've undone the elf's very being. Never born, he can never ascend. Eldron is immune to temporal manipulation. Not when it changes the very foundations of Celestia itself. Dear Valorin, I suggest you check on your own portfolio. In fact, you may find it quite surprising. Oh. You've gotten weaker barriers, or perhaps your sword has. Whenever you strike me with the other sword, it always seems so much stronger. You're not going to goad me into revealing my true strength. I do have to keep some secrets of my own after all. True, but I'm curious as to why you would hold back at such a critical time. I do not need to obliterate you, and indeed, doing so could cause serious repercussions. I have no desire to cause major damage to property or reality. That is why Lodestar is not appropriate for this fight. What I need is defense, not offense. You're being arrogant. I'm being honest, which is more than can be said for you. You have lied to the Lorians about history on multiple occasions. I expect it though, since you probably don't even know the whole truth yourself. What do you mean? You were born of a piece of the shadow universe, just a piece. Do you arrogantly presume yourself to obtain all knowledge of how it came to be? You were wrong. I know of these things because I lived there for many years. I commune with the universe itself. It is conscious? Not for a long time, but I remember your betrayal quite well. In that respect, I should thank you, since your failure as a shadow is what produced the universe that exists today. One that is much easier to keep tame. You fled from your mother and your home, seeking what? Purpose? Freedom? What rot? You threw away your dignity in the ultimate act of cowardice, trying to feel as though you were somehow special, that you deserve more. You will lecture me on whether purpose or freedom are goal enough. I wonder what your new allies would think of the means you employ. Their opinions on the subject are irrelevant. I have not kept law and balance this long by playing nice, as you well know. You are a failed experiment, a fool who doesn't even know his own history. And that is precisely why you will be defeated, not by the likes of you barriers. As I said, I don't need to defeat you, only keep you occupied and soften you up for Korriban. I think it's only fitting that one of those little birdies, as you mockingly called them, should deal the final blow. After all, what could be less dignified than for you to be banished by one you've underestimated for so long? Wow. Okay guys, I just want to say so far, wow, the storytelling is really on point, and I don't say that for a lot of AQ quests. In fact, I can count probably with my number of fingers how many good storytelling quests there are inside of AQ. This is one of those. Not the whole saga necessarily. I felt that the first half was like pretty long, kind of boring, you know, that sort of stuff. But this finale, I think they nailed it. The storytelling is really very, very good. Here, I'm not sure who wrote this. It's either Lord Barriers or it could be Falarin. I don't know who it is, or maybe it's a joint effort. I'm not sure, but this was before Craze time. But yeah, this one, this is a storyline quest that I can definitely stand behind. Really enjoyed it. Animations not super flashy, but good enough. All right. Next part. HOM. What does HOM stand for? Meet Dows. So this is the ladies' outpost at Luminovia. Here I am to take over as High Communicant. Lords, it seems strange. How is one such as I going to lead this church? It is enough to give a birdie indigestion, is it not? Who are you? Let me save the Robin Starveling the trouble, shall I? What do you mean? You need not worry how an unknown priest can lead the ladies' entire church. Let me handle that. How can you do that? By doing it myself. Oh god. Are you the new High Communicant? We have been expecting you. I am, and you must be the head acolyte. Cagliari Lux, isn't it? I have heard so much about you. I'm Father Daos. You can call me Seth K. I have a feeling we are going to have a wonderful relationship. Wow. Man, yeah, suddenly I understand everything from this one quest alone. What it's talking about is basically building on the villain that is Seth K. Daos, aka Erebus, his origin story and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, very cool. And this guy actually existed even before the start of time, if I'm not mistaken. Okay, and yeah, I can see why it's so difficult to get rid of him. But my point still stands from the previous episode. I do hope that we'll get to see a new villain sometime soon. Like, it's always going back to this guy since, you know, the whole Devourer thing is done now. Like, we keep going back to Erebus for some reason or another. So maybe, just maybe, we'll be able to get rid of him permanently once and for all. You know what I'm saying? Rigorate. Sometime later, an alternate law. Of course, it's not going to be easy knowing how strong he is. Wait, I can click on this. Huh. And with this, my corruption is complete. I have spread the stench of undeath that the other law's Brujado incursion started. Now I have finished my namesake's goal with the Brujado in this world as well. I have brought my namesake's doom to young Rigoric more successfully than he ever could. Oh, there you are, dear Citra. I fear I must be returning home, but I will leave a piece of myself and some wisdom to guide you. I am everywhere and everywhere. How shall I proceed? I see a time when your necromancy will rival the best of the secrets that the Brujado and I have left here. A meteor born of uncreation can be utilized to empower your efforts as well. Seek to understand, young Citra. I will guide, though from afar. Where do I start? Not here, too well established, but subjugate the rest and this too will fall. Imagine the day, Citra. You shall topple that tower and raise its armies as teeming undead. The Epsilon. 700 years ago, Galaxy Fleet Academy. Ooh, Warp Force? Who and what are you, creature? Mew, I am no creature. I am Shadow, a trans-dimensional, trans-elemental shadow. The E are about to arise. I have seen to that. The E? But I thought of calling them the Epsilon, given I did manipulate network technology in my experiment in forced analog creation. They needed a boost, you see, something to differentiate them strongly. They will not know me, of course, or my kind. Cannot have that. And why is that? Even though the parts of the many E I manipulated and used were so different, if they could sense me at all, their primes might come and take them away. You know who Erebus suddenly remind me of? You know X-Men, the very first one? I forgot what his name was. Basically the bald guy with like blue color skin. Yeah, the very first mutant. Yeah. Forgot what his name was, but super powerful and only Jean Grey was able to beat him. Yeah, Erebus reminds me exactly of that guy. And on top of that, they even have similar blue skin. Guys, am I onto something here? Was Erebus based off X-Men? I'm pretty sure. Wait, the Universe came out before that movie? I'm not sure. I don't really follow the comics, so maybe the writers were fans of the X-Men comics and got their inspiration from there. Who knows? What are you saying? But see, the experiment shows it can be done and better in time. Oh yes, and if there were two of you, it would still not be data. What? He has left Captain Epcor. Can you go after him? No, but I sent the autonomous tracking link to follow him across the barrier. That should permanently create an affinity between our frames of reference. And should he return, we have readings. If ever he or his kind return this way, we'll know. Battle in the Hall of Memories. Let's go for this one first. Okay. Yeah, the storytelling for this quest so far really on point, though. I wish that the dialogue can still be a little bit shorter. Like, I don't want to read 2 to 3 sentences in one dialogue. Maybe keep it to 1 sentence per speech bubble. That would be good. Yeah. Like, it's still very good though, despite despite my criticisms. Yeah, way better than like the regular storytelling that I seen inside of typical AQ. I think AQ still has quite a long way to go before they can like compete with the likes of Dragon Fable in terms of storytelling. Of course, another thing that I keep pointing out is music. Music is another big thing. If they had music in this, man, it will make it so much better. But yeah, until then, I guess AQ should really take a leaf out of Dragon Fable's book. Despite AQ being the older game, so you expect AQ to have like more, what do you call that? More advanced stuff or better stuff. But yeah, Dragon Fable has really like evolved to a point whereby it's just entirely in a league on its own. Like way better than any of AE's other games right now, to be honest. Way better than AQ was, AQ 3D, whatnot, MechQuest, all that. Though I haven't played every single AE game before, but yeah, I can say for certainty that Dragon Fable, really one of their best games right now. Might not be the most popular, but it's certainly one of the best. Okay, let's finish this. There we go. I mean, of course, AQ still has that nostalgic feel, and more people would recognize AQ or Battleon as opposed to Dragon Fable. At least in my country, yeah, AQ is more recognizable, and people know about it more as opposed to Dragon Fable. Probably because it came out first, but also probably because it was just more iconic back in the day. Adventure Quest, but we really call it Battleon over here. That's a cheap trick, barriers. Cheap. And that is a terrible pun, firstborn. Oh, it's a pun. You've been taking lessons from Alpha, haven't you? Oh, cheap, buddy. Yeah, okay, I get it. Bah, you're keeping secrets from me after all. Despite such similar appearances, your two swords are nothing alike. On the contrary, siblings always have some things in common. But you are right, Eventide does not agree with her sister as to how fights should be handled. She prefers a defensive approach. But given how most foes can't withstand much more than a few strokes of Lodestar's fire, it's rare that I have to even draw Eventide, much less use it. You should be honored. And you managed to keep this from me, okay, typo here, all this time because you've never had to use that blade. I can't believe I fell for something so simple, so obvious. Even the best tactician can make a mistake with enough hubris. You defeated Falarin, so you naturally assume you could defeat me, and indeed all of law without any difficulty, and that is precisely why you'll be going home very shortly. We've driven back the last of them, right on time. Your armies are broken and you have been weakened. It's time to go home, firstborn. Korriban, I can seal him away within the Shadow Universe, but it will take time. You'll need to keep him occupied until I make the preparations. But don't doubt yourself. You have stood down deity strength enemies before. Well, mostly because we are one ourselves. And the first one has been sufficiently weakened. You're making a mistake, you know. How amusing. Before this war began, you couldn't stop talking about how you hoped we would succeed. Something about avoiding mutually assured destruction, as I recall. Yet now that you're on the verge of defeat, you plead for your well-being. How pitiful. You've shed even your pride now. You know as well as what my home is like and why I sought to leave. Of course, I would do anything to avoid being put back in my cage. And yet all this time, your goal has always been to bring home here. Darkovia owes its present state to you, for the same reasons that the Middle Isles are now in such danger as a result of the secret. I thought that you had learned, but you'll never learn, it seems. There is only one appropriate place for you, in your mother's custody. I refuse to allow this. I think that's my cue. Reverse, I'm about to send you crying home to mommy. Let's go. I wish they had an updated version of the fight. That would be cool to see like a pimped out Ariba, see how strong he really is. Ooh, this powerful being from the Shadow Universe has revealed his true form. He's going to do his SP attack next turn. I think we can tank it. We have over 5,000 health and he's only level 136. Oh, nice. Resist the power of Reverse's gaze. Maybe you could have him as a void challenge in the future, along with like other deities like, you know, the Galen, the Devourer, something like what Dragon Faber has done for their Inn at the Edge of Time. Revamped modern versions of old tough bosses. Yeah, I mean this guy probably wasn't very tough anyway because he's not max level. Actually, so foolish as to do this here. Excuse me. You face future threats far more grave than I. The rat will do much worse in time. There's a hidden threat growing in the lands he's created as well. And then there's all of those beasts all running about, gathering the orbs. Yeah, you waste such effort on dealing with me. Other threats can be dealt with in time, but yours is a threat that can no longer wait. And if you wish to blame anyone for your priority status, then blame yourself. So be it. I spoke truly earlier, though you may believe it not. I am glad you have won. The fight is over. Home again, jiggity jig. There is one odd duck. Crone. You do realize, of course, there is only a matter of time, perhaps very little time, before he recoups himself enough to return here. You may underestimate him as much as he does you. He has grown and changed since he became involved in the many worlds he has messed with. It will be later rather than sooner. Korriban gave me ample time to construct an elaborate set of barricades and seals. I have dropped him into the deepest plane of the Shadow Universe. It will take him time to claw his way back out of that prison. And by then, law will be adequately prepared for him. I will not worry about him for the time being. He himself pointed out that we have more pressing and urgent concerns in the near future. And stronger though he may be, Valerin, you and I both know that he is a nuisance compared to the doormat threat lying within that same plane, his mother. And one takes it by mother, you do not refer to the female he showed us at the outset. I was uncertain said force still existed. I'll take your word that it does. You are better informed than I on that point, Valerin. Though it is, I suppose possible his mother and the mummy he showed us are related in some way. It's hard to imagine what living through such a thing might do, if possible at all. No, of course it would not be. Lawmaster, I digress. Yes, you do. Of course you are right, but the concern of the universe itself is not all. He may have backdoors prepared if that rat can bring down seals between the universes. It is quite conceivable that, no, that's not bad thinking about. Lawmaster, you are off on a wild tangent again. Not as much as you might think, more like a coessence. Still, barriers, his long ties to Darkovia do concern me, and the actions he has started there will continue even in his absence. This buys us time to be sure, but I cannot see the Darkovians doing anything differently. Donovan or Sinara are unlikely to change their plans regardless. They have learned from their encounters with him, however, which will only further enable his defeat when he returns, strengthened or not. I have learned where that being is concerned that little is certain. To know him is not to understand him. Even you, Barriers, I do not think can be said to understand that being. Be a lot barriers. Good, you thought better of it. Yes, you have some explaining to do. Yes, it's time you got a full story. You've proven yourself deserving of that much. It's a long story though, so you may want to take a seat. The Shadow Universe began with elemental collapse. The planes of darkness and light collapsed in on each other, destroying the tangible universe. While some claim that the reason is not known, its primary cause can be traced to a blurring between the boundaries of each elemental plane. This universe was very advanced in using hybrid elemental magics, and used them to access. The lines between elements began to blur and eventually it gave in altogether. Efforts were made to stop the collapse, but they ultimately failed. They did not understand the reason for the collapse and thus could not stop it from happening. Some attempted to flee the dying universe, but only a scant few succeeded, most of which crossed over into our law. The universe's collapse destroyed everything: planets, stars, galaxies, even the gods. Everything was blended together into a hybrid mix of light and darkness. Why those two elements specifically? That much I can't say. I can say that other universes experienced the same collapse, though with different elements, so perhaps it was some manner of multiversal balance. At any rate, with the original universe wiped out, it risked being pruned from reality entirely, unless it could reform itself in some construct or form. So this primordial shadow, a maelstrom of countless lives of mortals and gods blended together into a massless, shapeless thing, became a sentient entity. There are many names for it, but you might call it Erebus's mother, precisely, and he was its first creation, its firstborn, but he was a model that the universe struggled to reproduce. It could not perfect the formula, so it abandoned this matter of creation. Instead, it looked to full reality, to mirror another universe, and copy from it, but it needed a good mirror. And unfortunately, it chose ours, most likely due to the trail left behind those escapees I mentioned earlier. And so a copycat was born, but to prevent the entire universe from being a mere copycat and to maintain some semblance of control, the universe was divided into many layers. The most simplistic level sought to copy ours, creating the shadow creatures you have seen in battle. This is the universe most people see and the one which the gates tap into. But being a mirror, this layer of the universe was distinctly lacking in free will. Shadow creatures were born to mind births in law and die with their Lorian counterparts as well. They grew stronger or weaker by their counterparts' will, not their own, and most shadow creatures resent this and resent their masters as a result. What about albeit? He seems to have more than enough free will to go around. Another story for another time. Suffice it for the time being that he and I are both special cases, and others exist as well, obviously. Some manage to escape the so-called puppet layer and claw their way deeper into the universe, thereby growing stronger. But that isn't important at present. What's important right now is what follows. The one you call Erebus became disgruntled with this creation. He longed for the feeling of his home, the place he had been born into, not the puppet layer he was forced to reside in. So he escaped. He tore open a hole in the universe and escaped to our law. There he met this universe's closest analog and stole his body to keep himself from dying. And he has been causing difficulties in our universe ever since. He is responsible for many atrocities through our law, and Celestia, to name only a few. I believe he also had something to do with your parents. Quite. Did someone mention his parents? Oh gods, he always gets broody when someone does that. Albert, where have you been? Well, I was just going to grab a quick snack from Crove's spot, but the people there aren't very tasty. Then my kitty sense kicked in and told me that you guys were in the middle of a long and boring exposition, so I decided to show up. Nobody likes long, boring, talky scenes, you guys. Yes, AQ. So you sent Dals crying back to mommy, eh? For the time being, it won't last, but he's in one of the deeper layers of the universe. Even once he's escaped his bindings, he might spend some time down there, enjoying the freedom he never had while on the surface layer. But if you place him too deeply, isn't there a risk that he might wake up mother? The thought occurred to me, but it seems unlikely that even he is that crazy. He knows full well what trouble that would bring. He may just end up destroying himself doing so, which I imagine is not high on his list of evil schemes. Right now we should prepare instead for the warnings he gave us. He is right about the middle aisles. A strange sensation has been growing there recently, a presence of sorts that should not be there. There is reason to be concerned about the growing threats of the Truthma and the Beasters as well. Fortunately, with my Lawmaster title now conferred proper, my schedule has just cleared up. What should we do then? For the time being, nothing, but prepare for the worst. When these problems arise, we will be ready. Good, let's get out of here. My tummy's still rumbly. Come on. Oh, you say cut, right? And that is the end, guys. There is the other part as well as like a epilogue of sorts, but I think we'll cover that in the next episode because this episode is already 26 minutes long. But before we end off the episode, let's see what rewards we have. Fellow's Divine Decahedron. Ooh. Oh, we get his staff. Oh, that is very, very nice. Man, almost makes me want to make one in real life. If only I had the artistic skills to do that. Wow, that is so cool, man. Fellow's Bespoke Battleon. And this is Fellow's suit. Nice. If only we got max level versions for it. Maybe if they revamp the quest in the future, who knows. Oh, there's sound too for the epilogue. But you know what? We'll check that out in the next episode. Hope you guys have enjoyed the video. If you have, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And of course, subscribe to this channel if you guys would like to see more of such future content. Till the next time, I'm your host, Korriban Gaming. Peace out.